Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Astartes Anonymous podcast, where today we've got a really fun Halloween special planned, where we're going to make a very silly tier list ranking some of the goofiest, spookiest things in 40k. So I am once again joined by a Night Lord being a Night Lord, a pumpkin. Moots, what the fuck are you again?
I am a gnome.
And a gnome!
Gnome!
I'm your host, Tom, and these are my co-hosts.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Lucas, or better known as Moots, the gnome.
I'm Red, and I don't know what you're talking about. I'm your average Imperial Guardsman.
Hello, I'm Aaron, and I have shat in my costume. Somebody help me, please.
You fucking should have shattered your fucking
The
bones
nerdling
after
shits in my brain.
You deserve it.
Oh.
So, because we have an extra long episode planned today, an extra long special episode planned today, we're just going to skip the models of the week and all that shenanigans, and just sort of crack on with the main event.
Hell yeah. It's a spooky one.
And if you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, no good Halloween event is complete without some kind of slutty costume.
See, originally
have no
I
words.
wanted the slutty costume, but the boy said no, and I can't imagine why.
That's too
Personally,
dangerous.
I took great offense.
We can't have that.
This is not very Christian of you, Tom.
Why is it making you feel impure things?
No, but it is making me feel angry.
You're always angry.
So it's a little bit different
Yeah.
than usual. Man's like the Hulk.
Right, should we crack on with the main event?
Yes.
So,
You've
as you
already
can
said
see,
this.
I'll repeat myself as much as I want to repeat myself. Thank you very much, Red.
Once more, please.
I think Tom is lagging. Sorry, guys. We have to. Aaron, you're closest to him. Can you punch him or restart him?
Yeah,
Just
hold on,
punch
hold
him in
on.
the back of
Restart
the
him.
neck. Yeah,
Bruh.
it's like a factory reset. You know, you grab a heavy object and you just fucking whack him. I'm sure that will do something. It'll at least put him out of our collective misery.
I'd prefer it if you elected to not do that, Aaron.
I'll beat the femboy out of you. Right.
Beat the femboy. Quick, someone grab Falling Pipe MP3.
And moving on, because this is just, I can just, now Aaron said the trigger word, this can only really go downhill from here.
We all know it. I was the one who said it.
So, as you can see in front of us, we've got this great big list. First, should I just quickly list off what we're going to go through here?
Yes.
Just so that everyone in the comment section can quickly get off their chest the bitching about the things we didn't include in the list. I think that seems
shout.
fair.
Yeah.
Before that, I wanted to include literally fucking everything in Warhammer in this list, but apparently, no, that was too much. I need to cut out some of it.
Everything's terrifying in this world. Nothing's good.
About an hour
Fucking
before
Warhammer.
About an hour before recording this, the list was a lot bigger. And Moots was like, no, we have to cut things out because it'd be too long. So Red
why are you
was going to get
blaming Moots?
everything. Go look at the message history. Moots is to blame. It's right there.
No, I like Moots. I'd rather
Okay.
blame you.
That's fair.
So see, Tom, I did all of this for you because I know that it takes time to edit, and I was just thinking of you, man.
And now Red's going to kill me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for thinking of me. Now I get blamed for everything you do, and you get what? Nothing.
He gets my money.
You get paid. You get paid to redirect Red's repressed rage at me.
It's not repressed, trust me.
It's very expressed.
There's nothing about this exchange that I'm even remotely okay with.
But you also forget, I get to wear the gnome hat. And be a gnome. You've been gnomed.
Listen to you fucking Keemstar wannabe. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god. That was the most insulting thing you've ever said to me, I feel.
Could you? Moots is at least 4 inches taller than Keemstar.
I'm pretty sure Moots wears platform boots, to be fair. So
Yes.
the jury's still
Yes,
out
I
on that
do.
one.
He's 5'2" without them. He goes up to a whopping 5'3".
Yeah.
I mean, what Moots lacks in height, he makes up in width.
You could say girth.
I'm sure there is no reality in hell where if we were in a cage match, Smoots does not win.
Well, it's that sort of the compact, sort of muscular nature of him. It's like fighting a pit bull.
Shit mouth sort of vibe.
Pitbull.
Yeah, it's small, but every inch is just packed with muscle. You know,
I could take him.
I don't know about that.
It's not him you have to worry about. It's me shooting you in the goddamn chest afterwards.
It's a hell of a handicap. I'll take it.
It's always a fair fight with you, isn't it?
I get a bullet. Moot says cancer. It's a fair fight.
He got the bullet from God.
Anyways, moving on, because we can sit here and roast each other all day. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe one of these days we'll just spend a whole fucking episode just fucking roasting each other.
And if
The
you're
hot
curious
zone.
about that, we roast Tom literally every second we're not doing this fucking podcast.
They do.
I heard Tom is selling his house due to his crippling Big Mac edition. This was discussed in a previous episode.
This episode is actually just because of the way we're recording this episode is actually getting aired before that one gets aired.
Oh.
So they'll
Future-
find out
future
about
vision.
the Big Mac addiction later on. Saying it like that makes it sound like there actually is one.
He's in denial. And we're not talking about the river.
Look, admitting to the problem is the first step to recovery, Tom. You're very brave.
Right, I'm burning space on my fucking hard drive. Let's start this bullshit, boys.
Get a
We're
bigger,
like
bigger hard
fucking
drive.
7 or 8 minutes in, and we haven't said a word about anything spooky yet. So we're doing something wrong, gentlemen.
You've been trying.
What's spooky is your Big Mac addiction.
We could have done the models of the week bloody segment in this time. Instead, we've just spent it taking the piss out of me.
Yeah, we should make this a weekly deal. This should be the normal.
Yeah,
my goodness.
everyone's models are cool and all, but like roasting Tom, that's timeless.
That's timeless.
This is what I get for roasting Aaron in the all the intros for the last 3 months.
Damn straight.
Perfectly
build it
balanced
up.
as all things should be.
It's a
Right,
pressure
moving on.
gauge cracking.
I'm forcing it now, boys. We got to move on because it's coming up to 10 minutes and we have said nothing.
Womp, womp.
We've said plenty. What are you talking about?
You leave me alone. Right,
Leave
quick
those
fire
Big
through
Macs
the.
alone.
Meanwhile, Tom's wearing a "Don't bully me, I'll come" shirt the whole time.
Oh, Moots, can you put that on the avatar, please?
Sure.
You're worried about
Make-
monetization.
Make it a crop top.
No.
I'll censor it.
blur
I'll
out.
censor it.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, there's just a big mosaic of like Tom's chest and like what's underneath there. I don't know. Subscribe to the Patreon.
And actually, to be fair, I got to throw that out there because I did say that I would. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Patreon. It is live. If you like our content, you like the podcast, you like the shorts, you like the videos, please go and have a look. Thank you very much. Right, moving on to the main thing. So we have 20 things we're going to go through today. I'm just going to speed them off now. So if you've got a problem that we didn't include your favorite thing, you can chuck it in the comments section right now. First up, we're going to
We
do
won't listen.
Oh, Red won't listen. I'll listen. Red, maybe not. So, first things first, we've got them. Actually, I'm just going to list through all of them real quick and then we'll crack on. So, we've got the Megarachnids, Phosphex, the Orks, Cherubs, Necron Flayers, the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Death Guard, Dreadnought Internment, the Warp, the Inquisition, the Psychneuein. What the fuck are these things again, Moops? The fucking
Slaugth. The Slaugth.
No, the bug things with the butt and the tentacles.
Oh, the Enslavers.
The Enslavers, the Daemonculaba, the Hrud, the Slaugth or whatever they're called, the Night Lords, Servitors, the Emperor's Children, the Drukhari, and finally the Tyranids. So that's the order we're going to go through. And gentlemen, let's start with the Megarachnids. Giant motherfucking spiders.
Yes,
friendly
as
boys.
seen in Horus Rising, if I remember correctly. Yes,
I don't know
maybe.
if are they in Horus Rising? I thought they were just mentioned in it. I don't know if they're actually.
No,
in
they're
it.
very prevalent.
Oh, I want to take that back then.
They
eat the
land
guy.
on this. the dude. They eat the guy.
Horus, he's dead. Rising into its mandibles.
For those who do know, they are a race. Actually, a endangered species. I'm not sure they even exist at this point in time.
No, they were wiped out in the heresy.
Yeah, okay. That exists on the planet called Murder, and which is a lovely place. Great.
Oh, I remember this.
Great vacation spot. Take your children there. And well, you know, they're big fucking spiders, and these guys munch down on Space Marines like they're fucking Kit Kats. And
now I gotta throw out there, I am fucking terrified of spiders. I have always been terrified of spiders. For me, this is going right at the top. I watched Eight-Legged Freaks and Arachnophobia, those two movies. I don't know if you've seen those. I watched those two movies when I was way too young to be watching those movies. And yeah, my problems with that never went away. I've got a really awful core memory of going to bed when I was like 7 or something after watching one of those two movies. And laying in bed with the lights on, as you would after watching a horror movie as a 7-year-old, and seeing this fucking massive, hairy-ass fucking spider just on top of me. Needless to say, I was not particularly impressed with that turn of events.
I loved Eight-Legged Freaks.
It's
I
funny
saw
you
that
mentioned
movie
that.
when I was like 12 when it came out. I was fucking, this is awesome. Spiders are awesome.
This is fucking sick.
It's aged very well. It's very funny to watch it now, but it still does unnerve me a little bit.
I was going to say, it's funny you mention watching stuff like too early, because my sister has a similar fear of like gremlins, like Gizmo and shit.
Wait, Gremlins? Like the movie Gremlins?
And she refuses to this day to watch it at all. My mum loves them. She thinks they're adorable, and she's like, "Oh, you got to watch it again." And she's just like, "No, never."
oh my god.
I can understand the spiders thing, because spiders are a real tangible thing in this world. Fucking gremlins?
Gremlins, that is very funny.
Like, irrational fear of goblins, goddamn.
I mean,
Goblins are great, man.
to be fair,
Hey, I exist.
You're a gnome.
You're
a gnome.
Say the fucking G and I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you, Moots.
Anyways, how do we feel about... I mean, I gotta be honest, gentlemen. Again, we'll do it democratically. We'll try and find an average where we can, and if not, someone will have to fold. For me, personally, out of all the things on here, if I were to face them in battle or just face them in general, I'm fainting if I see a Megarachnid. I am going to sleep. It can do whatever it wants. I am unconscious through the entire ordeal. I will be shitting my pants. This is 3 spooky, 5 me, 100%.
I mean, these things, they also easily killed Space Marines like they were nothing, so...
Yeah, I mean, personally, I wouldn't put them on 3 spooky 5 me. I would honestly put them at... bones not rattling, because they're just
Bones
big spiders.
I
mean, they're just spiders.
They're big spiders. They could easily fucking slaughter me. They would probably turn me to mincemeat, chuck me in a fucking sandwich for good measure, and you know, put a fucking olive on that. But it's like, I don't know. They're big spiders.
No, they'll just kill you. Like, they don't, like...
Yeah.
They're not sadistic or savage. Like, when you meet an Megarachnid, you're just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not going to suffer.
I'm going to say
they're-
not spooky,
they're animals.
because they're just watered down Tyranids.
They're just watered
That's
down
an interesting way of thinking about it, I suppose. Go on, Red, where are you putting them? Because we got one for, like, top, middle, and bottom, so I
I
suppose
agree
you can
with
decide.
Moots. Bones not rad. Like, they are still giant spiders.
Well, that definitely averages right in the middle. Gentlemen, we have our baseline.
Way.
Gribblies. Right, next up we have Phosphex.
Just Phosphex.
Phosphex. So, for anyone who doesn't know how Phosphex works, I'll give you the quick.
You heard of Vietnam?
Basically, imagine napalm, except it moves, and when it touches you, it literally restructures your fucking DNA whilst burning you alive, turning you into literal mush. Phosphex is fucking terrifying. I'm pretty sure Phosphex was one of the things that the Imperium during the Heresy at large said, no guys, stop fucking using this, and the Death Guard were like, nah, we're going to use it, fuck off. In standard
Chemical
Death Guard
warfare is
fashion.
based.
I don't know about that.
Sounds like a man in need of Phosphex, in my opinion.
It's essentially like mega space cancer napalm, essentially.
I guess it would kind of depend on...
I'd say not spooky. It's literally just a chemical weapon, and we have mustard gas, and if you ever seen that shit put to use, then you just not spooky.
It's just a chemical weapon, guys. It's just a chemical weapon. Fucking the California, the American in you is so powerful right now. It's just a chemical weapon, guys. What's the fuss?
I mean, comparatively to everything else on the list, it's not that special.
There's some poor Vietnamese, Japanese people listening right now going, yeah, the American said that. That makes sense.
We didn't use them on Japan.
No, you use something a bit more heavy on them.
I'm gonna say bones be rattling. Personally, because if you're there and you see this shit coming towards you, you're not gonna be scared. It's gonna be pretty fucking terrifying, to be fair. It's not like a fate worse than death, which a few of these things would give you.
Are you telling me the chemical gas is more terrifying than a giant fucking spider?
Yes, because the chemical gas will kill the giant spider very easily, along with everything else on the planet.
Yeah, we're not power scaling here today, though. We're talking about fear. I think, despite being a bitch about it, I think Red's got a point. It is kind of... And again, looking at the other stuff on this list, it does kind of make sense to me to be a bit lower down. I don't know if I'd say not spooky, because if you see it affect somebody else whilst it's creeping towards you, your pants are turning brown. That's not optional. That's a prerequisite. So I'd say Jimmy's unrustled. I think that's where I'd put it.
I agree. I mostly agree with Red. I feel like it's just a thing. It's just a weapon. It's
just fart gas.
Yeah, it's just very
What farts have you been letting off,
very spicy fart gas.
The spiciest fart gas.
I think Jimmy's unrustled.
What about you, Aaron? We got 2 for Jimmy's unrustled, 1 for not spooky.
I'll bump down to probably bones not rattling, so it'd be a high Jimmy's unrustled. I think it's a fair
put that.
take.
All right, I think we can safely put that in Jimmy's. Put it now in Jimmy's unrustled. So Phosphex, not spooky, but certainly enough to make you want to maybe bring a second pair of pants. I think that's fair. That's fair. Next up, we have the Orks. Now, I think someone tried to get the Orks out of this list, but I don't know, man. I don't know, man. If I see an Ork, that's accepting your fate of being turned into a literal pile of fucking mush,
It's like the thing is, Red brought up this point to me when we were talking about this, when we were discussing this idea. Orks are fucking evil. They maybe not.
They're not morally evil.
No,
but they are cruel.
They are cruel. They are very aware of it, which is what I think terrifies me about it. Let's just take the example of what they did during the War of the Beasts. Red, I think you know a bit more about this than I do.
During the War of the Beasts, the worlds that the Orks took over, they basically mentally broke the population to becoming nothing more than overgrown cattle. They would force breed them and make them such, mindless animals that they were no more than actual cattle. It was so shocking to what the Orks were doing that the Iron Warriors that came and saw it were sickened. The Iron Warriors.
The Iron Warriors.
I mean, they're responsible for something else a bit later on this list that's going to get pretty high up. So that's actually, that's saying something, to be fair.
In the same book series, it commented on how the Ork wave was something that you could not stop. They weren't taking prisoners. They weren't giving any mercy. They weren't stopping at all. They could not and would not stop for anything. And there was no choice other than fight them, run away, or die.
Yeah.
On top of that, if you look at, Orks, the funny Orks, right? But, look at them from an outside perspective. They're hulking masses of muscle built in raggedy plates that they scavenged. They have the bones of their fallen enemies dangling around them. Their claws are literally hydraulic presses.
Yeah. I mean, best case scenario, you get caught in a walking industrial accident, which isn't not spooky on its own, to be fair.
On top of that, if you think about it, Orks do shit like burn people alive, and they laugh at it because they genuinely think it's funny when you dance around screaming.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit that actually terrifies me. That I think that's why I would actually put them like right on Free Spooky 5Me.
On top of that, orcs themselves, they don't actively see you like your pain as an issue. It's just not even a thing in their head. They'll gladly rip you apart to hear your screams because they think it's funny, not because they're malicious.
No, they find it incredibly funny in a kind of child pulling the legs off of a spider way. It's
Oh my god! I've just realised the orcs would love Happy Tree Friends. They love that shit. They would adore Happy Tree Friends.
oh no!
What in the goddamn is a happy tree friend?
It's a very fucked up animation. I don't know. Happy Tree Friends is more into like the fucked up sadism part of it. I don't think that's really the orcs. It's the violence that the orcs like, not the actual pain it causes.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I would be happy to put them in Bones Be Rattling or Bones Not Rattling, somewhere around there.
3 Spooky 5Me.
I don't think it's 3 Spooky 5Me, man.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone in desperate need of being mauled by an orc. Moots, you know what to do.
Yep, get away.
All right, well, Moots, what do you think? Where are you putting them?
Free Spooky 5Me. Easy.
Red?
For 3 Spooky 5Me.
Aaron?
Would it Bones Be Rattling? Or, yeah, probably the same as you, Tom. Bones Be Rattling, Bones Not Rattling.
I'll probably put them Bones Not Rattling, to be fair. I'm happy to put them in Bones Be Rattling.
That's a high Bones Be Rattling.
That's a high Bones Be Rattling. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Next up, we have the Imperium's God-forsaken, Emperor-forsaken Cherubs. Now, a few people don't know what Cherubs are. If you've seen a bunch of 40k art at any point in your life, you've probably noticed babies flying around with little wings and augmetics and optics and all sorts of other weird shite. Basically, to create a cherub, you take a baby, usually a cloned baby, sometimes not, and you basically take its fucking brain out, scoop out its brains, put some fucking robot shit in there connected to what little brains you've left behind, give it some wings and maybe a fucking bag of ammunition, and you send it on its way.
And usually some eccentric Inquisitor or rogue trader just goes, yes, this will be my pet.
Freaky flying baby pet, yeah.
You should carry the melter grenade. Yeah.
Again, it's just a baby with some augmetics. That's not really. I mean, it's unsettling and uncomfortable to look at, sure, but like terrifying. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with this sentiment. It's kind of I feel like the ceramic, doll creepiness. It's just weird. You look at it and you're like, ooh.
No, I think that's a fair take.
Like, there's no chance that, like, the Phosphex is more scary than the baby, because the baby's not going to hurt you.
I mean, that's it. Let's say the cherub does decide it wants to attack you. I mean, you're just going to punch it, aren't you, really?
Like, it is still made of baby. And those things aren't very strong. Have you ever punched a baby? They're pretty easy to punch.
God, I wish.
I've never punched a baby, but
Red certified baby puncher.
Yeah, I'll take your baby punching skills to heart, and I think I could comfortably say, I want to say Jimmy's unrustled for me. What do you guys think?
I'd agree with that.
Not spooky at all.
Fair.
I think not spooky, honestly.
Well, I'm happy to fold and say not spooky. I'm happy to fold and say not spooky. I think again, actually, to be fair, you're right. Looking at the other stuff on this list, it would be hard to put it higher than not spooky.
You can dispatch a baby. You can't dispatch the death cloud.
Yeah, it's in not spooky.
It's kind of the how many toddlers can you take out if they like attacked you in waves or something? It's just.
How many cherubs do you think you could fight barehanded at once?
Exactly. The answer, just like the fucking kindergartners or whatever the fuck is I just knock one the fuck out, grab him by the legs, and just start swinging with him.
Next up, we have one of Red's favorite all-time things, the Necron Flayed ones. Red, would you like to educate us a little bit on the Flayed ones?
The flayed ones are Necrons that have succumbed to something called the Flayer virus, which means they are driven to skinning and eating flesh in a desperate attempt to refine their organic bodies.
Oh, they eat as well?
They try to. If you read the Twice Dead King series, it's a really macabre description of an entire world that fell to the Flayer virus. It's literally Necrons attempting to shove meat into their mouth, but not failing because, well, they're Necrons.
Damn.
It's described as the Necrons succumbing to a hunger, almost. It's described like an addiction. That they just feel the need to eat, but they can't, so it drives them crazy.
Kind of fucked up.
Fucking hell.
On top of this, one of my all-time favorite pieces of Warhammer art is from the 9th edition Codex, where there's a bunch of flayed ones coming over these Imperial trenches, and the guardsmen are so fucking terrified that they're blowing their own brains out with their last pistols. They'd rather kill themselves than be flayed alive. These things flay you alive, hence the name.
I was going to ask, is it not a kill? It's not like a Predator thing where it like kills you and does that shit later. It's like, yep, nope, stay here. I need your skin.
Yeah,
like just hold you down and start pulling. Yep. Oh my god.
Like a bear.
In fact, the fucking Necrons themselves are terrified of these things.
Well, they're terrified. I mean, they're terrified of becoming one, aren't they? Because they just see the sort of degeneration of them. You know, they look at it and it's like that is full regression.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
complete
again,
insanity. I mean, that's it as well. They're completely fucking insane.
Not true. In the Twice Dead King novel, Twice Dead King Reign, the ending scene, spoilers for the book, but it's been out for a while, so it's your own fault for not reading it. There's a really great scene of the flayed ones being leading a charge throughout this Imperial ship. And it's built up to be like this grand, like almost revolutionary thing of their Pharaon admitting to the flayed ones that they're his people, and he's leading in this glorious charge against the humans. But then you see it from the humans' perspective, and it's literally just a mass of metal and claws and flayed skin coming at them, grabbing people, ripping them apart. Fucking the screens fill the ship. There's a scene where one of the bigger flayed ones teleports onto the bridge. And then everyone's standing there looking at this impossibly tall, thin monstrosity that roars and just starts bloodletting everybody, butchering them at all. And at the end, they all have a feast on the corpses.
Oh,
what
God.
the fuck?
Oh, they can also tunnel through something called the Ghost Wind, which means they can basically just fucking teleport behind you.
Oh,
what the fuck?
Oh, Mawu, your skin is mine.
I wish we had that clip from when you played Dawn of War of Tom Red, and you just spammed in the flayed ones, and you hear Tom just go, "Would you stop doing that?" That shit's fucking hilarious.
I was about to say, to even accentuate like how fucking terrifying flayed ones are, I successfully broke a salamander's line with nothing but flayed ones.
They are very intimidating to someone who is let's just say somewhat inexperienced at Dawn of War. That was not a I think thanks to that and the other bullshit you pulled that game is singularly why I haven't played Dawn of War against you in a very long time. This fucking we mentioned this in one of our first podcast episodes. This arsehole used some stupid Necron fucking bullshit and somehow stole Ashmantle from me. And then, for some fucking bizarro reason, kept Ashmantle in the back line, refusing to let him die, so I couldn't spawn in a new one. And eventually he did decide to send him forward, and all I could see is fucking salamander terminators getting grabbed by Ashmantle and being mulched. You're a fucking asshole, man.
Really opened up like a past wound there, didn't I? Fucking
oh my god.
Oh man, it was so great. It was like Tom was like, yeah, this is going great. This is going great. Then suddenly flayed ones across the board spawn in behind the salamander.
I swear there was like 50 of them. I swear to God there was like 50 of them. It's so fucking durable, man. Anyways, so for the flayed ones, I would comfortably put them at Bones Be Rattling. I think for me, that's Bones Be Rattling territory. Probably ahead of the Orks, or just behind the Orks. I don't mind.
3 spooky 5 me.
Honestly, yeah. Free spooky 5 me.
These things inspire people to commit suicide.
Jesus Christ. What about you, Aaron? You going to find us a tiebreaker here?
I put 3 spooky. Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair shout.
You know, for the first time ever, gentlemen, they're in three spooky 5 me, and for the first time ever, gentlemen, we've got a tier list with our first 5 entries hitting all 5 points.
Damn.
That's wonderful.
We did it.
Well, this is great. We've
won Warhammer.
We've actually set a standard here for like all the ones to follow. I just think that's chef's kiss. That's wonderful. Right, next up we have the Adeptus Mechanicus, just in their entirety. So I want to just come at this from like the perspective of maybe a guardsman or just an imperial citizen, someone who for some reason has ended up on a fucking Forge world and is seeing all this shit for the first time ever.
Well, with that said, it is a common thing whenever reading about the Inquisition, what the fuck am I saying, the Mechanicus, that they pretty much everyone that meets them are horrified at what they are. It's not a pleasant thing. All these upgrades and just replacements of flesh and sinews. It's immaculate in their degeneracy. They're just the destruction of flesh and body. It's body horror in a way that is like it's not. Yeah, it's just a good old fashioned body horror.
There's a subcategory of horror called something. God damn it! It's there's a name
body
for
horror.
it. No. It's close. The Japanese coined it, and it was used heavily in Akira. It's called something like techno gore or like iron gore or something like that. When body horror gets basically conjoined with overly complicated mechanical intricacies. So again, you can think of like the stuff from Akira as Tetsuo is starting to sort of like lose his arm, and it's all sort of exploding, like near the end in the stadium scene where it's all getting a bit fucky-wucky. I think the Adeptus Mechanicus, by and large, do inspire a lot of that. And the other thing as well about the Mechanicus that I just thought about is because of how shoddy it all is. Well, it's not shoddy, like it's not like Wasteland shoddy, but it's not exactly a perfect science. The stench from being near a tech priest must be fucking horrific.
Oh, probably.
The smelling of rotting skin and flesh conjoined with oils and metals, you know.
My
Must be
favorite
just
tech priest.
rancid.
My favorite tech priest is actually from the Mechanicum, and actually in the omnibus, the Night Lord's omnibus. His name is Deltrian, and he has resculpted and molded on his augmetics to look like a human skeleton. And he was impossibly tall, like as tall as Astartes, but thinner than them because he was trying to be a skeleton. And he walked around in like a black cloak, so he straight up looked like death itself.
Ooh.
And he just stalked around the ship all the time.
Well, that's what you get for spending time with the Night Lord. You get a sense of edgy fashion.
One of the things in the book was how Deltrian isn't overtly sadistic. However, the things he does really shows that he's kind of a Night Lord himself, because he does some fucked up shit to people. And like finally when the Night Lords confront him about it, because they're like, you are one of us. That's apparent because you keep torturing the fuck out of everything you touch. He took a Titan Princeps. A Princeps of a fucking Titan. Very mentally powerful people. Not psycher-wise, but willpower-wise.
Yeah.
He stuck him in a tank, and he basically shocked the shit out of him to turn it into this thing called the Psychic Scream that disables machines.
What the fuck?
And literally he goes, I was inspired to create it. Like it was a fucking work of art torturing the shit out of this guy.
Nice.
What a pheasant plucker. What a pheasant plucker. I think for me personally, based on the other stuff in this list, I feel like they deserve maybe bones not rattling or low bones be rattling. You know, because whilst they are horrific to look at and be near, ultimately, they don't pose the same threat as 4 of the 5 other things we've already got on this list, but they are such a visual nightmare.
I would definitely say on the higher tier, but Again, you can use examples from like the Bolter and Chainsword animation where a tech priest gladly killed a guardsman for his augmetic.
Yeah.
Although I don't understand why she had to kill the guardsman. She could have just removed it, but whatever. I'm not the fucking tech priest. Making the fucking needlessly grimdark story more grimdark for no reason. Whatever.
On my incomprehensible kind of shit.
Anyway, like their pursuit of like knowledge is also what drives them to do abominable shit to other people. So I would probably put high bones not rattling, because if the tech priest desires something enough, they will not stop at anything less than brutalizing people around them to get it.
Yeah, they don't have any compunction about pain either. I'd say high bones not rattling. I think I can agree with that.
That's what I was thinking.
I think so too, or a low bones be rattling, but it doesn't matter in this case. I think it decides it. It's just the cold, calculative nature of the Mechanicus that really, sure, uncaring machines, but you know, it's methodical, and they do it for their own gain.
Well, I'm going to put them
pleasure.
I'm going to put them ahead of the Megarachnids. I'm going to put them. But in my mind, I'm going to put them
religious
on about
fanatics, and nothing scarier than a religious zealot.
That's true. That's true, and it ain't the usual imperial religion. Right, gentlemen, we have a absolutely disgusting one next. The Death Guard. Your world gets invaded by the Death Guard. You are... it's not good, boys.
Let's go.
It's not good.
Let's go.
I've read a lot of Death Guard things. That's definitely, just off the bat, without explaining anything, a 3 spooky 5e situation.
I'm inclined to agree, honestly. From what little I know, It is not a good time.
Like, the shit that Nurgle's diseases do to you, you might as well kill yourself as well.
I mean, that then, like... That might not even help you, because this is the thing. You don't just want to die. You need to die and, like, atomize your brain. Otherwise, the suffering will you will not be dead for long.
There's a couple of really good things on YouTube that describe what the Death Guard do. One of them is done by Vox in the Void, and the other one's done by Baldemort. In Baldemort's video, he narrates something out of a perspective of a planetary governor on top of his hive spire, and he sees the Death Guard land, and then he just sees their slow advance, and like the wave of insects are so thick it's like a cloud, and when they hit, they just start degrading everything. The world around them rots, and like they throw everything at the Death Guard, and they're just not stopping, because that's what they are. They're just a slow, unstoppable force that's slowly getting closer and closer, like a disease. And when they do get there, he starts seeing like all the shit that they're doing to people, like reanimating the dead, fucking ripping people apart with just diseases, just the putrefiedness of what happens to people when Nurgle's rot touches them. And he consigns himself to walking into an incinerator and pressing the button to incinerate himself before they can get to him. Because
honestly, best decision he made that day. Best decision.
Yeah, the total atomic annihilation is way better than the shit that Typhus did to that one dude that was folded 14 times.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, in the Plague Wars book, Typhus is destroying a ship, and he sees one of the humans like beg for his life, and then it's narrated like he's given a gift by grandfather Nurgle, to where the guy's body literally like contorts and folds, but the guy's still sapient throughout the whole thing. Like he feels everything. And Nurgle is like, and Typhus is sitting there going, "You are so lucky to be given such a gracious gift by grandfather Nurgle." While this guy is screaming in agony and being basically ripped apart and reformed. And if you've seen Rick and Morty, you know that scene where Rick goes, "Jerry, get out of the booth and fold yourself 14 times." That's basically what happens to this guy.
Oh no! Well, that's an instant. I'm sorry, guys. That's an instant 3 spooky 5 me for me, honestly.
And the other thing I was going to mention is, I think in Voxcast in the Void, or Vox in the Void, narrates the idea of becoming a plague bearer or a poxwalker isn't that you're dead and your body's just reanimated. It's that you're trapped inside of the body and you're forced to watch through your own eyes what's happening.
Yeah, you lose all of your free will and become literally just a plague zombie. Like, to the book, pretty much. It's fucking cool.
I'm assuming the feelings they feel,
Very
you still have
cool.
to experience that bullshit, right?
Yeah, they still
Oh, yeah.
feel everything that they do and what hits them, and like it's caused by a lullaby, basically. The Death Guard sing. I don't know if this is actually true in any of the lore, but it's described as a lullaby, and they have to like put earbuds in their ears to not listen to it. But then one Death Guard Marine walks up to this Imperial Guardsman and just like, "Let me help you listen." He rips out the fucking the cotton earbuds, and this guy's forced to listen to this agonizing song that slowly warps him into a poxwalker.
Ugh.
Damn. Fucking
Yeah,
Death Guard going around singing their fucking High School Musical and just turning people into poxwalkers. Damn.
That's,
I will trap you in this fucking pumpkin, I swear to God.
I'll fucking make you explode.
All right, that's top of 3 spooky 5 me. That's ahead of the Flayed ones for me, honestly, gentlemen.
Easy
That's
choice.
right up there.
Not biased.
I mean, yeah, I would say beyond the Flayed ones, because at the end, the Flayed ones do kill you, and there's a chance you won't die against the Death Guard.
What do you say? Can I put it up there, Moots?
Yeah, sure.
All right, it's going in. Death Guard that's going to be tough to beat. Our next one won't beat it, but this is one that I really wanted in here, because after sitting on it and doing a video on it and then doing a short on it, I realized that it actually must be so horrifying. The longer it goes on, it gets even worse, and that's the average Marine's internment into a Dreadnought.
That is a tough one.
Well, I actually read as well that despite what you've just said, a good chunk of Marines, when they get put in the Dreadnought, despite the amniotic fluid, actually continue to feel pain. Not necessarily pain like that would be inflicted on them, but the pain of the injury that led them to that internment in the first place. You know, so we're talking about the mutilating of their whole lower torso, their head, their arms, their legs. You know, everything that gets lopped off before being put in there. And so not only are you experiencing this perpetual mental decline over the centuries and, you know, thousands of years, what have you, but it's also paired with just this immense, horrific pain. And again, one of the things we mentioned in the video about Dreadnoughts as well that is very typical is forgetting the horror and the pain. The actual immense sadness of being in one as well is so alien to Space Marines, because in between, you know, going to sleep and waking up again, going to sleep and waking up again, everyone you know, assuming you survive that long, everyone you know is gone. You know, you go to sleep, you wake up 500 years later, and you know nobody. Nobody knows who you are, you know who nobody is. And you go to sleep again, you wake up again, it's the same thing all over again. So the existence isn't just painful, disorientating, it's impossibly lonely. It's impossibly lonely. It's just so isolating, you know. All you're doing is stuck with your own mental existence for hundreds or thousands of years, with a declining mental state leading to just complete dissociation with nothing to keep you company but your own fucking pain, you know? Absolute nightmare.
One of my favorite Dreadnoughts was Malkarian from the Night Lord Omnibus again.
Yeah.
And every time he talks about being a Dreadnought, he always talks about how hollow everything feels.
Yeah.
Oof.
And he didn't even want to become a Dreadnought in the first place, and he refused to wake up for the longest time. He was kind of forced to wake up. But every time he talks to Talos, not my cat, the character, he comments on how he tries to like say it was a glorious battle, but in truth, he's just like, it was boring. I felt nothing. I don't want to be here. And at the end of the books, he decides to go off on his own and just do what he wants, and hopefully just die eventually, because he's just so finished with living in that box.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal of a Dreadnought, though, isn't it? To die. I think with all that in mind, gentlemen, I would be very happy to put them in Bones Be Rattling. Below the Orks, but definitely Bones Be Rattling. I think that's the one for me.
No, I wanted to add... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That Dreadnought Internment, that's fucking spooky. Yeah. Like if it's an honor, then you realize it's not as much of an honor as you think it is. The real fucked up thing is getting put in a Hellbrute when you think about it. Like the opposite.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, except
it flips
times
on its
a billion
head.
plus insanity.
Yeah, you just suffer more pain. You get all of the feeling.
I would be willing to say Bones Not Rattling, mainly because like being in a dreadnought isn't the threat. It's just experiencing being the dreadnought is the threat, but really that's not even it's more sad than actually like terrifying if you ask me.
Well, I would be willing to settle for high bones not rattling. Because there is always that one thing that everyone always says, and that's that Space Marines are trained and indoctrinated to not feel any kind of fear. And then they get put in the Dreadnought, and it's the first experience of actual dread. And that's kind of why I sort of felt compelled to put them in the tier list. So would we say high bones not rattling or low bones not rattling? What do you think, Moots?
Well, I think... I know this is a very personal subject, but personally, the idea of being confined and having all these sensory deprivating things, but at the same time, weird and new experiences, like being able to both see through the Dreadnought as well as through that little eye slit. Your whole world just changes but at the same time becomes so confined and restricted, as well as just losing yourself. I'm gonna have to put that like into at least low 3 spooky 5 me.
Really? Well, I wanted bones to be rattling initially. What do you think, Aaron? You want a tiebreaker it for us? We've got 3 different picks.
You guys aren't gonna like this, but I'm just gonna put Jimmy's unrustled.
Oh damn.
Okay, well that doesn't fucking help.
It's
So we've
really,
got
it's really like it's a very unpleasant thing, but you get used to it, and then you end up just being very sad and wanting to die. So it's only really spooky for a very short amount of time until you just go.
You make a good point.
Pain
you make a good point. Well, I'm willing to fold on bones be rattling and put it in bones not rattling. Then slap bang in the middle.
Yeah,
What do you
I'd
reckon?
say that.
Do you reckon ahead or behind the Admech and the Megarachnids?
Behind.
I'd say probably put a in front of the Megarachnids, because the Megarachnids will at least kill you. You want to die in the Dreadnought.
Yeah, I can get behind that. We'll slap it right in the middle then. That's all right.
New Patreon tier, $500 will stick Tom inside a sensory deprivation tank so he can experience the pleasure of what it's like to be a dreadnought.
I'm going to throw this out there. I've actually been in a sensory deprivation tank.
You should have been in there longer.
It was... I will throw this out there. It was very enjoyable. It was very good. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you're into weird psychological experiences, we can run away with what you think I mean by that, however you want. I'd really recommend it. It's a really great experience. But if you get claustrophobic easily, don't do it. Just don't. It'll be hell.
Guys. Aaron just disconnected.
Oh.
We lost Aaron.
That he did. That we did.
We don't have a protocol. Are we all still recording?
Yeah.
We don't have a protocol for this.
Oh,
he's back. He's back.
Oh.
Are you still recording?
Fucking Nurgle.
He died again.
Fuck. Nurgle just took him back to the war.
They got him. Oh
God.
no.
What the fuck?
Holy fuck.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
I think they're putting him in a dreadnought.
Anyone could be next. No one fucking move.
We don't have a protocol for someone disconnecting mid-podcast. I don't know what to do.
Fucking warp portal just opened up and swallowed Aaron. Holy shit. He's fucking dead. What happened?
I don't know what to do. Guys,
I guess we just keep recording.
Oh no, this is...
wait,
he's back. He's back.
Aaron, you're back from the warp. Holy shit.
Oh my god. What the my internet just fucking had a... Jesus fuck.
Are you still recording?
How
Yes,
was
still
the warp,
recording.
Aaron?
Yes.
Aaron?
Recording
Aaron?
is safe. Hello.
Is the recording okay? Are you all good?
Yeah, the recording's fine. My internet just fucking decided to have
That's awesome. We
thank God.
have a recording of what's like inside the warp now. How was Nurgle's garden? Apparently he wanted his pumpkin boy back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we fucking paid him we paid him a day in advance, so Nurgle can fuck off. He's not breaking any deals.
He wanted to smash that pumpkin, am I right, boys?
Oh,
Many people do. Many people do.
Just not women.
Just
Yeah, it's mostly plague toads. Yeah.
Oh no, dear God.
I'm
gonna love
We found the thumbnail for the video, boys.
Oh,
Aaron
no.
in the middle of the plague forest with a bunch of plague
Next video
toads in
idea:
the
chaos
eye.
sex tier list. Let's go.
Anyways, gentlemen, speaking of the warp, that is our next thing on the tier list. Just the warp in general. So this is everything. The warp, the Gellerfields going down, everything from small demons to big demons, the chaos gods, the whole fucking thing.
What a fucking transition to the fucking.
It's all been planned. You see, we knew to throw Aaron into the warp for this like seamless segue.
First,
I'm gonna have so much fun listening back to the fucking audio coming from
No,
his mic.
fool, I make you blow up after this episode. Stop fucking with the timeline.
Get rid of it.
we need a little cutaway where it's like Aaron just alone, disappear, like silent. It's like, hello, boys, where are you?
Lads, anybody?
Anyways, gentlemen, let's continue, please. The warp.
A fucking portal opens up and a lasso comes out to grab. It's like all three of us, like, heave!
Exit
God,
stage
he's
left.
fat. What the fuck?
Well, Aaron, since you've been to the warp, do you want to quickly tell us where the fuck we're putting this thing?
The warp.
The warp.
I'm gonna go free spooky 5 me. That shit was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, to be honest, at the end game, in Warhammer, when you die, you always go to the warp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no avoiding it, and the warp's literally just super hell. And there's a bunch of shit inside there that is just not cash money.
I've never felt so sorry for Eldar in my life.
Yeah, honestly, like, you'd be lucky to end up in somewhere in Khorne's domain, because at least if you show that you are capable of violence, he'll let you stay.
Well, but then you'll be going to Khorne's fucking gym, and that shit's awesome.
Oh, yeah, Khorne's gym.
Oh, yeah.
You get to pet the crocodile.
You gotta put
Exactly.
the crocodile.
That's a good merch idea. We're stealing that.
Like, it's either getting molested by chaos spawns, Slaneshi crab demons, or plague toads on the other ones, so...
Either that or get eaten by a plague toad. Yeah, it's not good. Or sat on by a great unclean one.
Some people pay good money for that.
If you're stinky enough, the Garden of Nurgle's a pretty cool place, I gotta say. But only if you're tough enough.
I feel like it's kind of the epitome of Free Spooky 5 of me, because it's just all of the horrible things. Literally, almost
indescribable.
everything that
it's Lovecraftian almost. You know?
Literally almost everything wrong with the 40k universe starts with the warp, and for a good reason. Which is just fucking. We have a bunch of different shit that comes from there, and different shit that just works because of it. You know.
Well, I think we can safely put it in 3 Spooky 5 me. Honestly, probably right at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
right at the fucking top. It is the living nightmare. I put it in there right now. It has the living
everybody's
nightmare.
living hell quite literally in it.
Yeah.
There's something for
Like,
everyone.
if you want
It's
a good
inclusive.
idea of what being in the warp is like, just read biblically accurate hell and times that by like 10. That's the warp.
Yep.
A great time for everybody involved.
It's family friendly. Bring your kids to the warp.
Bring your kids, yeah, bring them. Just bring them.
Visit our luxurious Slaneshi planets for an experience of a lifetime you'll never forget.
Ignore the things we said about the
Due
cherubs
to
earlier.
the
We
deep
love kids.
mental
Bring them to the warp.
scars it will leave upon you. Or just go to Tom's house.
Precious memories.
Anyways, gentlemen, coming back to
Freeze
something
to
slightly
death in
more
a shed out
grounded.
back.
You're talking about freezing to death. We're talking about going to fucking Sweden, the fucking 4 of us in May.
Oh,
You're talking about freezing cold. My man.
I can't wait.
Aaron is coming early in January, so that'll be
buddy.
fun.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, man, he's going to fucking freeze his fucking tiny nipples off. Holy shit.
I'm pretty good
Aaron
at the cold.
fucking dies in the
I don't
harsh,
know about the
unforgiving
heat.
wilderness of Sweden.
Right, let's move on to talk about our next one. So, gentlemen, next up, a bit more grounded, we've got the Inquisition as a whole.
So that's
Now-
the real 5 spooky, is fucking Sweden in the wilderness.
Come visit the American woods. I'll guarantee you've never experienced terror quite like being in the woods in the middle of the night.
Yeah, they have Californians out there. Fucking hell.
Somehow.
Now, talking about the Inquisition, the main reason they're on here is this sort of notion that if you're an imperial citizen, almost of any kind of rank or station, whether you're a piece of hive scum all the way to an actual noble or lord, when the Inquisition turns up, you know, you lock your doors, you shut your windows, and you shit your pants, and you hope to God they don't want to speak to you. You know, no matter which ordo or anything, because what's the phrase? Was it innocence is no? What is it?
Innocence doesn't prove you're not guilty.
That's
Isn't that
it.
the
Yeah.
Marines Malevolent fucking motto?
No, Marines Malevolent is kick that child in the face.
No, they have something like innocence is just ignorant or something akin to that.
So with the Inquisition, it's terrifying, but obviously it's not like intergalactic terrifying. But at the same time,
There's a disconnect with the Inquisition between the fans, the community, and the lore itself. The Inquisition is all varying depending on the Inquisitor that you're currently
that's true.
interrogating. Like, some Inquisitors are way extreme and they're just dickheads. And some Inquisitors are genuinely good people who are trying to do the best they can in a really fucked up galaxy. So it is depending on what type of Inquisitor you are. Like, Inquisitors themselves, they're Inquisitors for a very good reason. They're good at their job and they're dedicated to protecting humanity. It's just the measures they have to go to in order to protect humanity are a bit extreme.
Well, they're on this list because of the more extreme examples. So let's play it by that, shall we?
And the more extreme examples are literally the Inquisitor has pentultimate power over anything and everything that is below Terra and the Marines. Like, you fucking backwater planet, Inquisitor comes by. No, there's no real fucking stopping him from doing anything that he wants, unless the planet's a Marine planet.
Well, it's the concept of ultimate power ultimately corrupts, I think, and it's that is in itself a terrifying concept because you have people. We can, I think, we have examples in real life most of the time where people with good intentions who do terrible choices and ultimately for what they maybe perceive as the right choice, maybe for like the betterment of all, but ultimately, you know, fall into this deep, extreme and fear and paranoia where they see enemies everywhere.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
It is definitely. I do think for rating, they are in bones be rattling just by their mere presence alone doesn't really denote the best shit.
I mean, the worst case scenarios as well is we're looking at guys that inflict torture that is on par with, if not above, the kind of Dark Angels interrogator shit.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of, when they put you through the paces, when they suspect you of something, it is the worst thing you will ever experience. Period.
Goes against Geneva Convention guidelines.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm happy to put them in Bones Be Rattling just behind the Orks right now, if you guys are.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, the threat in presence of them is there, but there's a small chance that you're not going to be fucked with.
From the perspective of like your average hive welder, which is all there's going to be really scared of them a lot, I'd probably put them above the Orks. Because remember, Inquisitors aren't just themselves. They're going to have a whole host of scary motherfuckers in their retinue. And those things are anything from body horror, fucking Servitors / Mechanicus dudes to small Xenos. And if you want to get a bit silly, they can fucking break in your door and they can let a Drukhari into your house.
There's a chance that the Inquisitor's not going to fuck with you. There's not a chance that the Orks aren't going to fuck with you. The Orks will fucking kill you.
I think that's fair enough. I'm going to put them behind the Orks right now. I think that's where they belong, to be honest.
So too.
Right, let's talk about the Psychneuein. Do you guys know what the Psychneuein is?
The fuck is this?
You made that shit up. That is not in the Bible.
Right, this one, I found out about these when I was on my binge of the Thousand Suns, the Heresy of 1,000 Suns a while ago.
Vision Quest.
The Psychneuein are basically enormous man-sized wasps that are native to Prospero.
Wasps? Fucking shit, dude. Wasps today are terrifying. What are you talking about?
What the Psychneuein do, apart from being obviously giant man-eating wasps, is they actually have psychic powers. if the wasp detects someone who has any kind of latent psychic ability, which again, Prospero is pretty much everybody, and they are within eyeshot of you, they basically psychically implant their eggs inside your brain.
Right.
And when those eggs come to maturity, they will slowly eat out your brain from the inside before hatching and then going on to do the same. And then obviously at some point you're going to have giant wasps cracking through your skull and leaving your head.
Hell yeah.
That's a very Lovecraft type of thing. There's a very similar, great old one that will grab you and give you a bargain where they'll go either die now or take my young into you, and they'll put this fucking smaller version of itself in to you, and it will just psychically connect to the other thing. And if you try and take it out, it just bursts out and kills you.
I am a psychic wasp. I curse you with pregnancy. I fly away.
I went to Prospero and I got pregnant by a fucking psychic wasp.
Buzz, psychic motherfucker.
That's all I got was this fucking t-shirt.
The craziest thing about the Psychneuein is they actually, despite everything that happened during the burning of Prospero, the whole planet basically got turned to a fucking pile of ash and glass. The Psychneuein survived it all.
Oh.
The planet was fucking multi-nuked from orbit after it was all said and done. Not to mention the warp storms going on the fucking planet as well and all that other jazz. The Psychneuein survived it. In fact, I actually remember that when later on in the heresy, I think it was 4 months later, when the White Scars arrived on Prospero, they were actually getting their shit kicked in by the Psychneuein, and they were only saved by... do you guys know who Revuel Arvida is?
Mm-hmm.
Nada.
He actually fucking saved them. He was the loyalist Thousand Son that, basically, long story short, ended up being a part of the founding of the Grey Knights.
Right.
And he was actually on the planet and actually saved them from the Psychneuein, and then they obviously sort of took him on as an honorary White Scar after that.
My boy knows how to party. You're good. You come with us.
Fuck gets back to the ship. Khan's like, who is this? He's like, he saved us from being pregnated by wolves. And Khan's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Fucking imagine the disappointment of Primarch Jagatai Khan when you're like, oh no, I just went quick by to Prospero and now I'm pregnant. And it's like, what the fuck? My sons always wear protection. What the fuck?
It's like white girls going to Ibiza, except it's Jagatai on Prospero.
The whites, he's in the apothecarium, so I have good news and I have bad news. Good news is, or bad news is, you're pregnant. Good news, it's a boy. Several, actually. Growing slowly out of your brain.
I think for me, these guys have to, at the very least, be ahead of the Megarachnids.
I think so too.
After that, I'm happy to let you guys decide, honestly.
He got taken away again.
I'm gonna say that they're going basically. Yeah, I'd say after the Dreadnought in both rattling, because there's a simple solution here. Don't go to Prospero.
Don't go to Prospero. Oh yeah, fair enough.
It's
Sorry,
true.
guys,
It's true.
I'm terribly sorry, lovely audience. Aaron has fallen into the fucking warp again. He's not having a good time of it tonight. I'm just gonna sit here and pray that his recording is still going like it was before.
The thirst of the battle toads, of the plague toads is unrivaled.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the Discord thing. He's jumping in. He is suffering. Whatever's going on over there.
Oh my god.
Who fucking turned off the Geller field in here? What the fuck?
It's spooky Halloween shenanigans, Red. Spooky Halloween shenanigans.
Really getting. Yes, everyone to get in the mood. I opened up a warp rift and turned off the Geller field. It's only a matter of time before the demons come and eat our ass.
Right, I'm putting the Prospero wasps ahead of the Dreadnought. That's where they're going.
Yeah, I think that checks out. I was gonna end that with I've just personally, I don't know, having my Brainosi being eaten from the inside.
The Brainosi. No!
Somebody fucking help.
Aaron, you back?
Somebody, Mother of God, not again.
Is the recording okay? Is it safe?
The recording's fine.
I'm
my
so
dad,
looking
though.
forward to hearing back this recording just to hear Aaron swearing into his laptop.
Didn't know my dad was in the fucking warp. Fuck.
Oh, man. Right, moving on to the Enslavers. Right, who here knows a lot about the Enslavers? Because this wasn't my
I
suggestion.
saw them as well.
Well, the Enslavers, dear viewers, are the lovely psychic parasites that came from, well, you guessed it, the warp, at the end of the War in Heaven, when after millions or thousands, I don't know how long the War in Heaven went on for. It was a fucking long-ass time, and after millions upon billions of deaths, the warp having just been agitated by the constant warfare and bloodshed by the Old Ones, the Necrons, and all of the Old Ones' war races. Well, it's just decided to fart out these fucking fuckers. These
Technical term.
I like to think that they're just out there because they're just like, all right, fuckers, you've been causing too much of a ruckus. We're going to make you stop now. And, like they try and psychically control everybody, and everyone's like, oh, the warp is just like, hold still, you're causing too much. The warp's in tatters because of you. God damn it.
So well, pretty much actually. So and these fucking things, you know, they're like ticks on steroids that eat your brain and your like psychic and feed off of your psychic, your soul. I will probably throw up this piece of art where they just casually munching on some dude's brain, and you know it's in their name. They enslave. They're parasites. They just make. They take away everything from you.
They're the warp flood.
Makes you. What's that?
They're the warp flood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison, yeah. Well, I think they've. It almost seems like, in at least a lot of ways in function, they seem a little bit like the Psychneuein, but worse.
Yeah.
I think I'd be happy to shove these in bones be rattling based on what you've just told me.
They won't pregnate you. That's a bonus, I suppose. But either way, you won't be aware if they do any other funny businesses while you're being under. So,
Prepared to be
I'm happy to let. I'm happy to let someone more qualified than me decide where to put them.
I don't know. At the same time, they are extinct now. There's only one, and that's in Trajan's gallery.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, they're warp entities. Don't they still exist?
Free my man.
I
He
mean,
didn't do nothing.
I mean, there hasn't really been any evidence of them existing in the 41st millennium or 42nd now.
This is true.
I just know of one that exists in Trajan's vault, and that's it. And I know they caused a big issue because even the Necrons were like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't like that one. Not one bit.
Yeah, I'd say bones be rattling.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm going to put them ahead of the Inquisitors. I think that's fair.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'd say ahead of the Inquisitors because they're kind of rare to encounter, but at the same time, it's rare to encounter them, and orcs aren't rare to encounter. They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah. Right, next up,
They're in my
gentlemen.
fucking closet right now. There's one standing next to me, the short fuck.
I'm not a gork. I'm a working gnome.
I will hit you in the back of the head with a brick.
All right, next up we have what is widely considered one of the most horrible fucking things in all of 40k, and that is the Daemonculaba. Now, I believe it's only right to let Red explain what this thing is.
Oh boy. Oh god. Oh golly gee. I would like to state up saying Daemonculaba is not the worst thing in 40k. But at the same time, it is one of the worst things that you could possibly experience in 40k. For the uneducated. If you've ever read the Euro Ventress book, the Daemonculaba was a bunch of how do I put this politely? Mutilated women that have been force-fed growth hormones and gene seed in our C-sectioned to place adolescents inside of, only for those adolescents to burst out as some sort of fucked up pseudo-marine with no skin. These things are so awful that when Uriel Ventress was shoved inside of one, he broke out and began to sob. A Marine experienced something so horrendous that he was crying out of sheer terror.
That's how I was born.
I think I can believe that. To make things even worse, though, it's not just women; it's specifically pregnant women. So, taking it from the perspective of them as well to add an extra layer of horror, and to make things even worse, when the Marine bursts forth as whatever mutated, fucked up thing it is, because of all that's been done to them, the women that is, they don't die. They just get sewn back up and go in for round 2, 3, 4, 5 till they eventually do give out.
Yeah, this is very much one of those things that is super fucking brutal.
Well, you can clearly tell there was a bunch of guys sat in a room brainstorming, what's the most fucked up, offensive bullshit we could come up with today?
Yep.
And someone said the word, pregnant women. And then somebody else said, I know. And then this shit fucking happened.
Yep.
All of these people were called Honzu.
All these people, it was just Hanzu, and there was like 7 mirrors around him.
And for those who don't know, Honsu is the Iron Warrior Warsmith that has half Iron Warrior, half Imperial Fist gene seed that came up with this fucking great plan. And to that one person in the comments section for our Honsu short, no, he's not half Iron Hands. I tried to Google that to make sure we were like 100% correct. I don't know where the fuck you pulled that from, but he's not half Iron Hands. He's Imperial Fist. I can't remember the guy's name, but we even have like a suspected idea as which Imperial Fist captain specifically the gene seed came from.
We now directly address our haters.
Sorry, I had to bitch about that. That comment bugged me because it's like I've been corrected on getting lore mixed up in the shorts before, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'll always respond to the comment and be like, oh fuck, thanks for letting me know, because it's like, okay, I'm learning. But it's like the goal to be so confidently incorrect. I just read it and like, oh, this bugs me. This is going to bug me for weeks, and it's still bugging me.
Whoever you are, know that you have Tom's ire and disrespect.
Yep. The worst thing is, I didn't even write the script. I'm pretty sure Red wrote the script on that one.
It was the one I did.
Yeah.
I like Hansu.
I'm getting mad on your
We
behalf.
now directly address our haters and respond accordingly.
I have to say, if you have anything to say in the comments about us getting shit incorrectly, I do not care.
There is a guy, by the way, in the comment section for the Space Marine Versus episode we did a month or two ago, and he's made several. Instead of making one comment, he's made several comments and put timestamps. Put basically stating his I want to say his distaste with some of our comments on it. He clearly didn't catch the disclaimer that Red put in at the start of
I am overjoyed to know people waste their energy on that. And on the fact, like, if we're segue, I'm going to say a lot of people said, oh, we were talking about Warhammer being the best. Like, did you not hear me? Like, explain how hard Doomslayer would fucking slap most things in Warhammer.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, there was a really great comment that made me smile when Moops was talking about how Moots briefly mentioned how in one particular scenario, Malam Kaido would have the upper hand, Malam Kaido being the bolt gun guy, how Malam Kaido would have the upper hand on the Doomslayer. And some guy just commented the timestamp of when he said that, and his comment was the timestamp followed by cognitive dissonance in reference to Moots.
That is fucking hilarious. I don't... Whoever you are, person who commented that, I love you. That's beautiful.
Anyways, where the fuck are we putting the Daemonculaba? I'm honestly low 2 spooky for me, or 3 spooky 5 me for this one, honestly. Just behind the players.
Bones Be Rattling.
Yeah, I'd say Bones Be Rattling because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, thank God for that.
And just the concept of their entire like being is fucking like horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is... I don't know. I think it's hard. I absolutely agree that it's terrifying. It's just that I guess me personally, I don't find it terrifying as much as I just find it disgusting.
I guess that's the right word. Like, Moots brings up a point.
All right, where do you want it then, Moots? Where do you want to put it? Because we got one for 3 spooky and we got one for Bones Be Rattling. Where do you want it?
I still think probably at the top of Bones Be Rattling. I still think it's fair. It is a terrifying concept, but for me personally, it's just rather.
Right, I'm putting it ahead of the Orks
disgusting
right now. No, that's entirely fair. It is fucking horrific, and thank God it doesn't exist anymore. Thank you, Uriel Ventress. I'd look forward to seeing what other wonderful works of art Honshu creates in the future.
We'll be watching you with great anticipation.
Yes.
I like to think when he went to talk to Perturabo sits across like his ridiculously long desk, because I just imagine Perturabo having like a big evil CEO office and just go, Honshu, the Daemonculaba. Nice. I like the cut of your jib.
Anyways, gentlemen, next up we have the Hrud. Now, this was Moots' suggestion, if I recall correctly. Now, if I also recall correctly, granted the Hrud aren't exactly pleasant to look at with what descriptors we have. All they really do is just make time move forward real fast for a motherfucker. So you just kind of age instantly.
Well, yes, but it's also the fact that however they do it, they have terrifying technology. They had technology that made the fucking Dark Angels bust out Dark Age of technology shit to deal with them. These fuckers were not fucking around, and yeah, it's they just slaughtered everything, and I don't know. It's for me, it's the concept of this almost unstoppable force, because they still exist in 40k. They're just in hiding and skulk around. They still exist, and they are an absolutely terrifying force. They were a terrifying force during the heresy, and just, I don't know, the thought of having this underground. Actually, this next one after this is gonna be touch on the same topics as this. It's just this horrifying underground force that exists and has way more power than we can imagine.
They did successfully steamroll an Iron Warrior's fortified base.
Yep.
I think they get cool boy points because they kind of gave us Barabbas Dantioch.
This is true.
You get cool boy points because you gave us the straightest game man in 40k.
Straightest game. You know, to be fair, I can see why you think they're spooky, but personally, I don't.
I mean, they also did
that
test
opinion.
the fucking theory of Marines being immortal, proving it false.
That's true.
I think for me, genuinely, I'm going to get some flack for this. I think they're not spooky, but ahead of the Cherubs, to be honest.
There is also a working theory that they might be somehow connected to the old ones, which isn't necessarily spooky in itself.
There's every single fucking theory that's unexplained is connected to the old ones.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough.
I mean, the Jakero are connected to the old ones.
Monkey.
I got plans. The haters be sabotaged.
I mean, they don't look pleasant either. It's like taking bugs and centipedes, making them extremely slimy, and then give them the power to distort time. And there you got the Hrud.
I think Jimmy's unrustled is the highest you can get me to go, honestly.
I'm going to go not rustled.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to say unrustled as well.
The only scary thing they've got is the time acceleration.
Yeah, they're unstoppable, but they're not like overtly cruel like some of the other things on the list. They're a species defending themselves, honestly.
I'm going to put them ahead of the Phosphex right now. I'm going to put them ahead of the Phosphex.
That's fair.
Right,
that's
next up we have another one by Moots called the Slaugth.
The Slaugth, I think. Slaugth? It's like almost slaughter.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I checked it. The name you put in was spelt in the list was spelt Slaugth. But then I googled it, and it turns out the T comes before the 8, so it's some weird way of pronouncing sloth.
Okay.
It's basically, if anyone knows what hunters from Halo are, that's what the Slaugth are.
They are a big pack of worms. They are just a hive mind of psychic bullshit that takes the shape of just writhing masses of worms that somehow manage to disguise themselves as humans and pass on in regular imperial society. And they are also known as the Maggot Men and Dream Eaters or Carrion Masters. Boy, are they a naughty race. They're also known for, I believe, they almost they were one of the races that they found, what are they called, fucking Alfarius or Omegon. I could be wrong.
I know nearly next to nothing about these guys, so I can't even.
You're just making this up as you go along. I think you're making this up as you're going along.
Possibly.
Alfarius and Omegon just kept on Terra from birth,
No,
they didn't get yeeted off to nowhere
was
land.
kept on Terra, and Alfarius was the one fleeing through the warp. Good job, Erdra. Maybe next time not throw your kids into the fucking space hell.
But yeah, basically what they do is that they exploit humans. They enslave them and they feed on them.
We do that all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Literally me.
That's not for
I
new,
think
Chief.
based on what Mooks is telling us, I'm prepared to put them either right behind or right ahead of the Hrud. I don't see them as being as spooky as much of the stuff on this list, honestly.
I'd say
comparatively
ahead
not
of the
spooky.
Hrud because they seem more malicious.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Hrud are kind of shoehorn is the Hrud have this one thing. They're both equally awful to look at, but the Hrud are ultimately justified in the shit they do, whereas these guys are kind of assholes. Nefarious, even.
Nefarious.
All right, well, unless anyone's got any complaints, I'd like to put them just ahead of the Hrud. Right, and next up, we have Red's favorite people in the universe, the Night Lords.
Lords.
Not spooky.
Yeah, definitely. They're not spooky. Honestly, if you see them, you just welcome them. They're there to associate. Yeah, let's say associate. There's literally nothing spooky about them. You can trust them and trust me.
They're
with
like
everything.
vampires. They can't come in your house if you don't welcome them in.
They're not fucking vampires. That's
No,
not
I said-
that's
I said
the
that-
fucking
I
blood
said that
angels. Shut the fuck up, nerd motherfucker.
Sounds like someone might be getting lost in the warp again.
Yeah.
No.
From a serious note, they are pretty fucking terrifying. I mean, their entire shtick is fear. In fact, one of my favorite things the Night Lords did is during the Great Crusade, a planet that they went to, quote unquote, liberate. They rolled up and say, "Surrender to us now," or "Surrender to us now, and we will not kill you." And then that planet sent their entire. They said, "Oh yeah, no problem. We'll send a delegation to go negotiate with you." Instead, they sent their entire military fleet, and then the Night Lords basically cut off all transmissions, used the radio on that ship that they basically murder fucked the entire fleet. And then they sent a message back from the ship saying, "Hey, we defeated those assholes. Time to celebrate." And then the entire planet was just like, "Woo, we destroyed the aggressors." And then the Night Lords took their capital ship, flew it over their the capital city of the planet, opened up the bay doors and started throwing the flayed, disembodied corpses of their soldiers down on top of the celebrations.
Holy
going,
shit.
"Run away, little ants."
Holy
Fortunate
shit.
Son plays in the background.
And guess what? The planet fucking surrendered, and they only really lost a couple military vessels, so they get fucking results.
I think one of the things about the Night Lords, I mean, we can say this without providing examples, to be fair, because everyone knows that their entire shtick revolves around
They're terrorists.
literally fucking scaring the shit out of people.
They're terrorist marines. When Night
They
Lords
won't fight a fair fight.
they won't fight you fairly. They'll always fucking use cheap tactics, and they will attack the weakest targets. And exactly, like when they attack, everyone's free game. Even during the fucking Great Crusade, they just attacked everyone with no hesitation at all. They wear the flayed skin of their victims' skulls and marine helmets. Plus, they laugh at you when you're in pain.
Oh, we forget as well. I mean, this actually just, we didn't say anything, but this does kind of include Mr. Kurz himself, who, if I recall correctly, had an entire room built out of people's skin and
yes,
mush.
the screaming
holes,
gallery.
the walls,
If you don't know what a screaming gallery is, it's basically Kurz took a bunch of Imperial citizens. I don't mean like a couple hundred, I mean like a couple thousand. And then took them to Saguelsa, and then basically molded them and forced them into positions, then poured hot rockcrete over them to forever cast them. And then he implanted a bunch of people into the floor that were still living and kept them alive with this big fleshy floor. And they're alive through equal parts. It's said in the omnibus that it was made through equal parts sorcery and ingenuity.
Oh no.
So it's literally a room filled with people molded into a giant flesh wall, screaming their fucking hearts out because they're trapped in this hell.
I think that alone puts them at the high end of Bonesby rattling, honestly. Just that.
I'd say 3 spooky, 5 me. right ahead of the Flayers. Because the Flayers are doing it because they have a sickness. The Knights of the Lords are doing it because they want your skin. They want you to feel fear.
I mean, that's it.
Well, it's the same argument, I suppose, as the Orks, but whereas the difference between the Orks and the Night Lords is that it's sorta humans doing it. The Orks are alien. It's alien to us, although it's, violence isn't alien to any race.
Well,
but
it's the purpose of which they're doing it. The Orcs are doing it because they're basically pulling the wings off an insect. The Night Lords are doing it because they want to hear you scream.
Exactly.
I think that does actually. I take back my sentiment about Bonesby rattling. That is actually a perfect example of something that comes between the Death Guard and the Flayed ones.
I think
honestly,
so too,
Yeah, it's fair point. Fair points.
Right, put them in there. So next up we have
Vindication.
This one was a last minute suggestion by myself. This is the Servitors.
I don't know. I feel like they're kind of the Cherubs for me.
Yeah, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, they do hit a lot of the same beats. I think they're probably a bit spookier than the Cherubs because with a Cherub you just clone babies, whereas with a lot of Servitors, if you commit a crime, it's like, oh, Servitor time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even that. It's like even if you are chaos corrupted, they'll just turn you into a servitor because they're like, we can still make use of the body.
I think some chapters, I might be wrong about this, I might be talking completely out my ass, but I think some chapters, namely the Iron Hands, if they have failed aspirants, the aspirants just get, yep, you're a servitor now.
Yeah.
You failed the test, it's time for your lobotomization. All right, well, I think we can quickly skip over these ones. I think we can safely just put them ahead of the Cherubs.
Yeah, they're not really that. They're basically
put them
just
in.
diet fucking
Right, next up-
Mechanicus even.
Yeah. Well, next up we have the Emperor's Children.
Boy.
I hate those guys.
These guys know how to party.
They sure know how to party. And although this book is considered non-canon now, although it hasn't been decidedly uncanonized as far as I know, Inquisitor by Ian Watson has a very descriptive passage about some Emperor's children in a bathhouse. And
What were they doing?
What were they doing?
They're doing things. Mainly people, mainly humans. They were doing humans.
I don't think the Emperor's children are necessarily spooky. They're more or less just gross.
Well, it's the same beats as a Daemonculaba, isn't it? Just worse.
Kinda.
I mean, you say that until a Marine comes along and says you've got a pretty mouth, and then you'd be pretty fucking scared.
Yeah, I could. I could see an argument for them being just ahead of the Daemonculaba, but I could also see another one for them being just ahead of the Flayed ones because I can't see flaying skin being something that would be beneath them. You know,
It's I think it kind of depends on what your ick is here, right? Fear is subjective, but that was a sentence. It's I think I'd still put them on like Bonesby rattling because obviously these guys aren't. They're not the most terrifying, I think, but you know, you won't go away with without having shat your pants a little bit, at least.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, I'm inclined to agree with you then. So what are you thinking? Just ahead of the Daemonculaba?
I think so.
Yeah.
What about you two? Where do you think they should go?
I agree with Moots.
Yeah, it's a fair take.
I don't really see them as
Right, we'll
anything
slap
less than
you there.
a bunch of crack addicts anyway, and a sexual deviance.
Well, I mean, this is the thing as well. They are Chaos Space Marines, and their first and foremost objective will be to just put a bolt round in your head. You know, you got to be a real unlucky bastard if they decide to fiddle with your funny
I
bits.
mean, they might
you
put
know.
something in the hole that the bolt went through afterwards,
I mean,
but you're not dead by that point.
This is originally why I wanted just to include Lucius the Eternal, because the Emperor's Children as a whole are basically just Chaos Marines, just a little bit sadistic, a little bit more sadistic than the average one, while Lucius the Eternal has this whole thing where if you kill him, he overtakes your body and you become eternally entombed inside of his armor, which is fucking terrifying.
That is a
but
fair
Lucius the
point.
Eternal's a fucking wet wipe.
Because it's like they have characters that really do accentuate like how fucked up the Emperor's Children are. It's just the rest of the Legion doesn't really have that same vibe going. They're all just a bunch of noisy motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, I'll tell you who isn't just a bunch of noisy motherfuckers, and that's the Drukhari.
If you know anything about Warhammer, you know about the Drukhari, and it's an easy fucking sell for where they should go.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I still think they'd be behind the Death Guard.
I think they'd be in front of the Death Guard.
You reckon?
I think
Really?
so too. I mean, these are the guys that make the fucking Night Lords blush, right? It's
Yeah, they'll
that's
turn you
true.
into living chairs. They'll find new and intuitive ways to make you hurt worse.
These guys looked at fucking the Human Centipede and started taking notes. This was
they do that, or they'll turn you into a rack.
yeah.
That shit sucks.
They saw the Human Centipede and said, "This shit is amateur."
Yeah,
hour."
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not even getting into the details about like Comora and all the bullshit we don't know about that place.
Because it's like these guys will, like, the Death Guard will turn you into a zombie and you'll be sentient throughout the entire time you're a zombie. But eventually, you might get lucky and meet a Grey Knight that'll just eviscerate your soul. And, like, overall, you fucking you become numb to it after a while, because it's fucking Nurgle's entire thing, is that you just get used to it after a while.
That's true.
The Dark Eldar will specifically make ways where you will never get used to it. You could be fucking murderized and tortured for fucking eons. They find ways to increase your lifespan just so they can fucking keep you going. Yep. And if you get so used to one form of torture, they're just like, we'll switch it up now.
Let's make this spicy.
And if they get bored of you, they just turn you into living furniture, and good luck being someone's fucking ottoman for the rest of your pitiful existence.
All right. I submit. No, definitely ahead of the Death Guard. I still wouldn't put them ahead of the Warp. Though. I think the Warp in and of itself still caps out. Honestly,
That's fucking Jesus.
And finally, gentlemen, to finish this video off, we have the Tyranids.
The biomass-consuming endless swarms of space insects that only exist to consume. Yeah.
I have two nouns for you. The first being the parasite of Mortrex, and the second being flesh borer guns.
Those are good shouts. I raise you, Death Leaper, and a Harrispex.
I raise
Why?
all of you that at the end goal, you always just end up dying to these things.
This is true. This is a good point.
I gotta say, like, bones not rattling because they're mindless. Well, they're not mindless, but it's like they have a goal in mind, and that's just to kill and consume you. And after that, you're basically dead and sent to the warp.
I think
it's all about
following
perspective, man.
that line of logic, with the low end of bones be rattling, probably ahead of the Inquisitors, but behind the Enslavers. To be fair, because it's like someone said at the start. It's like the Megarachnids, but turned up to 11. You know.
I do believe that was right, but I feel like the difference between the Megarachnids and the Tyranids, or like any just mindless thing, is that, as you said, the Tyranids aren't mindless. Of course, it's more so we that have this perspective, but like they are driven by this massive alien intelligence that we have only gotten glimpses at what they have. But unlike a lot of other things in 40k, we have actually gotten a little more than just nothing. So we have actually things to go off of. And the things that I've read about the Tyranid hive mind, I think that's terrifying. Just this, it's not just one, but it seems to be some kind of actual, like, almost what's it called? This collection of multiple greater hive minds that together, like, have decided, yeah, it's that they looked at the Milky Way and they were like, yeah, it's dinner time, and the fact that there's so many, as far as we know, the only thing that exists beyond the Milky Way is just more Tyranids, and that the fucking Silent King spent millions of years just trying to killing sleeping hive tendrils and, like, hive fleets, and then just going back and, like, yeah, no, it didn't work. I'm sorry, guys.
I gotta tell you guys, we are fucked. I've been existent for like billions of years. This shit is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this is it, though. You've got so many ways of looking at it. You could look at this from the average trooper. If you're lucky, you just get slashed up and die. If you're unlucky, you get flesh borers. But when you start to look at it from a galactic scale, it does become quite Lovecraftian again, like the war. And so if you're someone, let's say you're someone like the Silent King or like Rabute Gilliman, and you're in charge of fucking everything, you look at all your problems. All of your problems are ultimately little problems compared to the fucking Tyranids.
That's the issue, is that it's so mind-numbingly, unfathomably big that it's hard to even quantify what that even means.
And that is the start of any good cosmic horror.
Yeah. I was going to say, on that note, from the Guardian point of view, it's all well and good getting sliced and diced, but when a fucking Mana Scepter or a Zone Folk wants to look at you and hit you with 10,000 years worth of, like, warp horror in your mind that actually only takes place in the matter of a second, and you wake back up in that battlefield, that's fucking scary to think about.
Well, it's
The fucking
PTSD.
Xanthropus looks at you, fucking vine boom sound effect, and suddenly
He just blasts you with the pad, fucking all of the collected vines from.
Yeah, just say that. Leave me alone! Ding! Each one of those dings is just 10,000 years of horror.
you know that picture of the girl covering her ears and the kid with the trumpet behind her. That's the entire Milky Way galaxy and the Xanthrope right behind it.
Well, with that, I think I would be happy to put them. It's hard because I would put them at least on par with the Death Guard. I don't know if I'd put them ahead of the Death Guard, though.
I'd say even with
What do
Death
you guys
Guard.
think?
Fair shout, yeah.
Well,
Just through the sheer idea of cosmic horror that I really like, I'd put them. I put them behind Death Guard because Death Guard's a more personal horror.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree on that.
I mean, honestly, the 3 Spooky 5 guys all seem way more personal than the Tyranids.
Yes.
That's true, but the only one there that touches on cosmic horror is the warp in and of itself, which is the literal embodiment of cosmic horror. I think maybe with that being said, it could be either at the very top of Bones be rattling, or at the arse end of 3 Spooky
I'd put
5
it in front of the Flayed ones, personally.
I'd put it behind the Flayed ones. It's just the
Flayed ones just ultimately kill you, but in obviously a bit more of a brutal manner. But then the Tyranids will do that in 17 different ways that are all equally way worse.
Yeah, but the Tyranids, you're much more likely to just die straight away, like infinitely more.
Yeah, but the Flayed ones just kill you as well, though.
No, but the Flayed ones will skin you while you're alive. The
Flayed ones will hold you down and start pulling things
by
off.
a hive fleet, you'll probably get eviscerated by a Hormigaunt, and if you're unlucky enough, get fucking vine boomed by the big brain bug. But, like, they're not there to keep you alive for their own sick pleasure. They're just trying to get rid of you so they can eat you later. They're going to kill you in the most efficient way possible. Because that's what the hive fleets ultimately are. They're efficient.
Yeah,
Yes.
like as Tom mentioned earlier, like we didn't really touch on the Parasite of Mortrex is a fucking funny thing. Scary fucking thing, though.
Yeah. That's true, but the Parasite Mortrex is just one thing, and I do see what the guys are saying. Tell you what, Mooks, you give us a tiebreaker, you decide where it goes.
I think they're still behind the Flayed ones.
Rigged.
Okay, let me ask you this, Aaron. Would you rather be flayed alive by a big robot skeleton or gored by a Hormigaunt in the span of 12 seconds?
That's just one of many outcomes, though, Tyranids could do to you. That's not.
That's the most likely
not a fair
outcome
question.
you're going to experience.
It's by and large the most likely outcome, to be fair.
Like, if I put you in a room with a bog standard fucking Necron and the bog standard Tyranid, the Tyranid's going to kill you faster.
Anyways, gentlemen, that is the entire fucking list.
Holy shit.
So at the bottom we have Servitors and Cherubs. Then we've got Phosphex, the Hrud, and the Slaugth. Then we follow up with the Megarachnids, Dreadnought Internment, the Psychneuein, and the Adeptus Mechanicus as a whole. Followed by the overwhelmingly dystopian horror of the Inquisition, the Enslavers, the Orks, the lovely family-friendly Daemonculaba,
Bring your kids.
the overwhelmingly arrogant Emperor's Children, and then in our top spot, we have the Tyranids, the Flayed Ones, the Night Lords, the fucking Death Guard, the Jesus-weeping Drukhari, and the godforsaken War.
Love that place.
I think that's a bloody good fucking list. I think honestly, I don't feel the need to change anything here. I think everything's in its right place.
Yeah.
Each one seems
Get rid
like
of Death Guard entirely.
What do you say?
I just get rid of Death Guard entirely. In my opinion. Fuck them.
Don't know, get rid of the Night Lords, alright? Fucking fight.
We'll lose Aaron in the warp one more
You
time.
can't get rid of the spooky guys from the spooky list, alright? We're ingrained in that shit, alright? Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. And I'll send you back to the warp, you motherfucker! Abdominus Nox!
Hi there. Thank you, everybody, for getting to the end of this particularly long and cursed Halloween episode. If you're enjoying our content, be it the podcast, the shorts, the videos, or any of our homebrew guides, we'd appreciate it if you joined our Discord and got in touch with myself or any of the other members of the Astartes Anonymous team. And if you want to help support us or help decide the direction of our content going forward, please consider taking a look at our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.